Look, let's just address the elephant in the room right off the bat. We are all feeling it, even if we don't always say it out loud in meetings. Technology has literally never moved as fast as it's moving right now. And I don't just mean a new framework here or a new tool there. We are living through a fundamental, ground-up reshaping of how work gets done. Software development is becoming autonomous. Generative AI is completely rewriting the rules of what's possible. But here is the uncomfortable truth we need to unpack today. While the technology we use shifts on a daily basis, the way we actually think about leading it, well, it's dangerously close to being left behind.
So, I want to ask you a really heavy question. Has your actual role, the way you operate, the way you think, evolved as fast as the technology you lead? We spend so much time and energy upgrading our systems, adopting the latest AI models, migrating infrastructure. But what about our own mindset? What about the very definition of our jobs? The title of Chief Technology Officer or any senior tech leadership role is familiar, it's respected. But we've really got to challenge ourselves today. Are we clinging to a totally outdated version of leadership while the rest of the world just sprints ahead?
The reason we have to adapt is pretty simple. For as long as most of us have been in this industry, the blueprint for growth was identical. If you want to do more, you hire more people. Scaling simply meant adding headcount, right? But that era, it's closing. Fast. Today, organizations are waking up to a harsh but incredible reality. Scaling no longer means just hiring. It means enabling exponentially more outcomes with far fewer resources. AI and autonomous software are completely severing that old traditional link between company size and company output. Let me be blunt. If your leadership strategy still relies on building massive teams to solve problems, you're playing a game that is already ending.
Which brings us to a massive leadership reality check. What happens when the executives themselves are the ones getting left behind?
We really need to lean into this uncomfortable truth. When the nature of technical work shifts this dramatically, executive titles and those traditional top-down mindsets can actually become a trap. We have this tendency to assume that the people at the top are somehow insulated from disruption. But honestly, the higher up you are, the more catastrophic a stagnant mindset can be. Think about it. Whenever we talk about AI replacing jobs, the conversation almost always points to developers or designers or customer support. But what happens to the executive layer? Technology is disrupting leadership just as aggressively as it is disrupting technical execution. Imagine a CTO whose primary skill is managing large engineering teams. What happens to that leader when AI enables that team to shrink from 50 people down to 5? If your entire value proposition is managing headcount, what are you supposed to do when that headcount disappears?
To really understand this shift, we have to recognize that we are officially in the age of accessible tech. Technology itself is no longer the scarce resource. For decades, CTOs and tech leaders were the gatekeepers. The defining question you had to answer was, how do we build this? Success meant you knew how to architect reliable systems, ship on time, and manage the technical complexity. But today, technology is incredibly accessible. Cloud platforms completely democratized infrastructure. Low-code and no-code tools destroyed the traditional barriers to entry. And now, Gen AI is literally writing software and running complex data analysis in seconds. The bottleneck is gone. The question that matters now isn't how do we build this? The question is, what should AI build? What should our human talent build? And how do we seamlessly combine the two?
Let me share a quick real-world story that perfectly captures how fast this disruption is playing out and how quietly it can replace an entire team.
A friend of mine recently joined what looked like an incredibly exciting, fast-moving startup. The timeline of what happened is wild. Month 1, he joins up, the vision is inspiring, the founders are ambitious, everyone's pumped. But watch how fast the economics change. By month 3, the founders start integrating heavy AI tools, and almost overnight, those tools quietly start replacing massive chunks of work that used to require multiple engineers. By month 4, priorities are shifting on a weekly basis, mainly because the founders realize they can iterate at lightning speed without needing consensus from a large team. And by month 5, total silence. Communication just grinds to a halt, and eventually my friend was entirely ghosted. The startup had quietly pivoted into basically a solopreneur-led machine. The founders realized they could achieve exponentially more with almost zero staff. This isn't just one bad experience, this is the new reality of business economics playing out right in front of us. Now, I'm not sharing that to scare you. The takeaway here isn't fear. It is extreme ownership. Look, everyone is a C-level executive of their own career. You absolutely cannot wait for a company to map out your evolution for you. You are responsible for making strategic decisions, for embracing the chaos, and for orchestrating your own evolution.
The people who are going to survive and thrive in this new landscape are the ones who look in the mirror and realize they are the CEOs of their own adaptability.
And that brings us to the rise of a completely redefined role, the orchestrator. This is the pivot. We might not need to change the acronym, but we desperately need to change what it stands for. We have to move from the traditional Chief Technology Officer, the person managing engineering output, to the Chief Technology Orchestrator. The next generation of leaders won't just be approving pull requests or managing ticket backlogs. Your future value isn't going to come from your personal mastery of Python or AWS. Your value is going to come entirely from your ability to orchestrate a beautifully complex, interconnected ecosystem.
I want to pause here for a second, just for a direct coaching moment. Listen to me. Titles alone simply do not create value anymore. The ability to adapt does. We really have to stop hiding behind our past credentials. The fact that you managed a team of 200 engineers 5 years ago, it's honestly irrelevant if you can't orchestrate a fluid team of 20 humans and 50 AI agents today. Leadership is not some entitlement you earn once and keep forever. It is a daily practice of adaptation. You have to be willing to let go of the very skills that got you to the top so you can develop the skills that will actually keep you there.
Which means we need to shift our focus entirely toward empowering your human ecosystem and orchestrating for collective success. True leadership right now isn't about your own individual survival. It's about how you enable the broader ecosystem around you. You are no longer just managing a neat vertical org chart of direct reports. As an orchestrator, you are weaving together human talent, autonomous AI agents, massive automation platforms, external partners, and all the underlying data and governance that keeps it secure. A true orchestrator looks at those pieces and doesn't see isolated departments. They see a symphony. They are constantly asking, how do I combine human creativity with AI efficiency so they actually multiply each other? To master that symphony, tomorrow's tech leader needs a fundamentally different skill tree. We're talking about capabilities like high-level AI strategy, organizational design, deep change management, human enablement, and responsible AI. Notice something about that list? Notice how incredibly human-centric and strategic those skills are. Technical expertise is still the baseline, sure, but it is no longer enough on its own. Tomorrow, companies are going to compete based on who can orchestrate technology more effectively than anyone else. Building a culture of human enablement and responsible AI is your ultimate competitive advantage. Because guess what? You can copy software. You cannot easily copy a highly orchestrated, adaptable culture. So let's pull all of this together. Building technology is becoming easier, more accessible, and way more autonomous every single day. The old bottleneck is gone. And because of that, simply managing technology is no longer the highest calling of leadership. The future will not belong to those who just manage tech. The future belongs to those who orchestrate intelligence. It belongs to leaders who can stand right at that intersection of human brilliance and artificial capability and direct both of them toward an exponential outcome. Which leaves us with one final, deeply important question for you to reflect on right now. As you step into this new role of the orchestrator, remember that your true metric of success has shifted. It's no longer about what you can do. It's entirely about what you can empower others to do. Growth isn't just how far you go, it's how many you take with you. So who are you enabling today?